building block upon building block, just like playing with Lego, but here real houses are being built. With this simple technology, a semi-detached house should be ready for occupancy within a week, built by the residents themselves.
When you come home in the evening and see that you've almost finished a whole floor, that's pretty cool.
And he had the idea that's going to revolutionize the prefabricated house market. Gabriel Lacateau invented a do-it-yourself block system, just like Lego. The idea is as simple as it's cheap.
The customer doesn't need any great expertise in building houses. He just needs to understand the principle, Lego, and the instructions that come with our kit.
Certainly sounds like a mini revolution. But is the building block house as easy to build as the inventor promises? We go to see a construction site in Monson, Belgium, about 30 minutes from Aachen. There we meet Patrick Schweitzer. He sells the building block system in the Netherlands and soon in Germany too. Today he's delivering the first set of building blocks to this construction site.
It's just child's play. I haven't seen a single snag yet. All you need is a ladder, a cordless screwdriver, lots of screws and lots of muscle power.
And these are the builders, the Belgians Noah and Justin Raxon. Together, the two brothers are building a semi-detached house. 25-year-old Noah and his girlfriend are moving into the left half and his parents into the right half. It is Noah's first home of his own and he's building it himself.
Yes, I'm excited. This is all new to me, so you have to get used to it. It's the first time I've done any building like this, and I'm looking forward to it.
Brother Justin has come along to help. The car mechanic knows his way around building sites.
I work in the garage myself with my father and my brother, and I built my first house by myself.
It all starts with a foundation. A water-repellent tarpaulin is laid on top of it so that the moisture doesn't get into the wood. On top of the tarpaulin goes a beam, which the building blocks will stand on later. The foundation, the beam and the base block are later screwed together. So why have the brothers decided on the building block system?
Because we don't have any waste. You don't need to cut anything. You don't need to clean anything up after work. It's all dry, it's all clean.
But that only applies to the shell. The foundations and cellar are built conventionally. The two brothers now want to do the building on their own. All that's missing are the building blocks. The idea for the smart building block system came from Gabriel Lacateau. The 48-year-old Belgian has been in the construction business for 20 years, and the idea of creating living space using wooden blocks came to him in 2015, inspired by his children.
I was playing Lego with my children in their rooms when I suddenly got the idea. I thought, why not use Lego to build real houses?
Gabriel built his first house in 2019. Since then, demand has been enormous. One reason, the cost factor. A prefabricated house costs an average of 120,000 euros. The building block system only around 70,000 euros. And every house is individual. First step, planning on the computer.
I'm currently working on a 3D project for a single-family detached house. Here you can see quite well from all sides how the individual elements are put together.
On the computer, Gabriel plans every detail together with the customer. The costs for bricklaying and concrete work are cut out, which makes it so affordable. And for new customers, Gabriel Lacateau has installed a trial stacking room next to his office. The bricks are made of pressboard, with a polystyrene-like material inside. But more on that later, because now we want to try stacking the blocks.
Would you like to try it?
Thank you. Yeah, okay. Okay, good.
Okay, they're definitely light, not heavy at all.
In a few minutes, our reporter has stacked a corner together. What's his impression?
In itself, not too bad. It's actually pretty quick and easy.
But a whole house made of these building blocks? We've really got to see that. The most important thing is just arriving at the construction site. The first delivery of giant building blocks, including building instructions, just like those of a Swedish furniture giant. But are they easy to understand?
With the plan, it's all very easy. You know the exact measurements of each wall, so that'll work out without any trouble.
Building instructions read and understood. Finally, the first block.
It's really just like Lego. All you have to do is clamp everything together one by one. After that, it's all screwed together, and then we can do the rest.
Everything does indeed go really quickly. The brothers build as much as they can with the 7-kilo blocks. And Noah, happy so far?
What I like most about this is how quick it is. You can see here that the first row is almost finished already. Traditionally, there's a lot more work involved. For example, we have the cellars downstairs, that's been done the traditional way, and you can see that was a lot more work.
Where conventional building sites require concrete and cement mortar, this site only uses a cordless screwdriver. Building is done row by row, layer by layer. Equipped with a drill, dowels and screws, the first row is connected to beams, tarpaulin and the foundation. After only 1.5 hours, row 2 is already in place. But watch out, the details can get tricky.
Just have a look here. There are 2 of them here. If you take this out again here, there's a 2 here, a 2 here, and this is the bond here. If you have the 3 block here, that means you have a bond that can't fall apart anymore.
This construction method is also used in masonry. Just like with Lego, you place the building blocks on top of each other, staggered by half a block to strengthen the load-bearing capacity of the wall. But how can simple wooden blocks support an entire house? We go to see the building blocks production site, Les Gaillettes. In the workshop, skilled workers measure, cut and assemble the building blocks individually, according to the construction plan. The rough chipboard, the basis of the blocks, is made of wood chips and natural resin. Gabriel Lacateau explains why he uses this particular material.
The blocks are especially resistant and robust and are easy to work with. In addition, this wood doesn't move after processing. So the blocks don't warp and the house maintains its shape.
In addition, the blocks are filled with expanded polystyrene, a plastic that is cheap to produce and known for its good insulating properties. This choice of material allows the company to produce its blocks relatively easily and quickly.
Currently, 250 to 270 blocks are produced every day, but we're planning to increase production to 500.
That makes 2 houses a week. This is because you need about 1,200 blocks for a 250 square meter building block house. This production facility will also provide the next load for our brothers. Day 2. Our builders are at hard work. After only 24 hours, the first walls are already up. Conspicuous here are the vertical beams. Later, the main beams, wooden beams for the upper floor, will be placed on top of them to support the load. Well, Justin, have you got into the groove yet?
Once you understand the system a bit, it's no problem. When you come home in the evening and see that you've almost finished a whole floor, that's pretty cool.
The brothers are well on schedule. At the end of day 2, the first floor of the semi-detached house is almost finished. And what happens next?
We're going to put this wall up now, then we'll start on the other side, so that it's the same level. When the blocks are all here, everything will be finished by the end of next week.
A week later, we return to the construction site. In the meantime, a whole story has been built. The plan was to have both semi-detached houses finished in a week. However, the brothers work in parallel and are only on site for a few hours a day. So that hasn't happened. But it does really look like a house. And what do family and friends say?
Most of them were a bit skeptical at the beginning and thought, yeah, so how's that going to work? And now when they all come and have a look at it, they think it's great. They say, yeah, you've got a whole floor finished after a week. You're doing everything yourself, and that's impressive.
If the boys carry on at this pace, the house should be finished in a fortnight. But we now want to see a finished house. Bauklot sales manager Patrick Schweitzer shows us his house in the Netherlands, also made of the building blocks and built by himself, of course. Here, at first glance, there are no more blocks to be seen. Patrick is already working on the interior. Here too, there is no trace of the blocks. With the right planning, such a building block house is ready to move into within 5 to 6 months, according to the manufacturers. By comparison, a prefabricated house usually takes 6 to 8 months. Once the shell is finished, as in this case, the next step is to apply screed, install windows, put in the cables and pipes and do the plastering.
Yeah, here you see a typical wall that's been clad with gablock stone. Then there's the lathing of 4 by 6 centimeters on top of that, which creates a free space, an airspace, and that's where the cabling goes in.
Cables and pipes are installed in this cavity in the wall. This is created by the so-called lathing. These are wooden battens that are placed vertically every 40 centimeters, similar to a fence. The plasterboard is put up last. And the whole thing costs around 80,000 euros. Our conclusion? The do-it-yourself house is relatively quick to build and, compared to conventional prefabricated houses, a real bargain. At any rate, we won't be surprised if we soon see people in our neighborhood stacking building blocks on their construction site.